People often ask me, what's my favorite part about being a priest? I have to say, it's really hard to narrow it down because being a priest is awesome.
My name is Father Scott Wallish, and I am the vocation director for the Archdiocese of Kansas City and Kansas. So on a daily basis, I get to try to help people find what God's plan is for their life.
But I would say that my favorite part about being a priest is helping people to grow in their spiritual life. Whether that's through spiritual direction or hearing their confession so that they can be reconciled and strengthened by God, or giving them the Eucharist so that they can receive Jesus' body and blood, soul and divinity, and all of his strength to be able to go out into the world and transform it through their lives.
16 years ago, I started training for my first marathon. And I have done 5 marathons since then and several half marathons. And running has taught me a lot about the spiritual life. It's taught me that you got to get up and do it every day if you're really expecting to see growth. And one of the favorite things that I found about training for my first marathon was that when I pushed myself to do something and went day after day, I saw a lot of growth. And the same thing happens in the spiritual life. When you are dedicated and you push yourself to go day after day to prayer, to scripture, to talking with the Lord, with time you grow in your relationship with Him and you also grow in virtue. Oftentimes when you run in a marathon, you're going to hit these various walls where you really just want to quit. You don't want to go any further. But you push through because you know that you're going to find the strength and that there will be more. And it's the same in the spiritual life, where the more we have those days where we feel real dry and we don't feel like we're going anywhere in our spiritual life, but we keep pushing, keep showing up, God pushes us through and we end up actually growing through that dryness. One time I went to run a race with my brother, and I did the 10K and he did the half. And after I had finished my portion of the 10K, I went back to the last big hill and I was cheering people on. And I kept telling people, this is your last hill, you're almost there. And this one guy yelled back at me. He said, well, that's what the last person said. How do you know this is the last hill? And I said to him, I know it's the last hill because I've done this. I finished this race and I know. It's the same thing, I think, with the saints. They go, they finish the race, they get to heaven, and then they come back along the path. And they encourage us and they show us, yeah, just do a little more, do this, do that. Because I know, because I've been there and I know that you can get to the finish line. One of the things that I like about running is that you're doing it with everybody else. Most of the time you're not really competing with other people. You're all running together. And so there's a great camaraderie that comes from that physical exertion, and it's fun to run with other people and have good conversations. And I think spiritual life is like that too. I mean, we're not in competition with anybody. We're working together and we all want to grow in our relationship with the Lord and help each other to do that.
Being a priest is awesome.